Good evening, everyone. My name is Kimberly Glover. I'm the owner of Girls of Destiny. I'm coming to you tonight with a video entitled You Can. You Can. When I think about you can, I think about you can be whatever God is calling you to be. Many times we're thrown curveballs in life and we don't know how to get up from a low blow, or we don't know how to get up from a situation or a circumstance that we currently find ourselves in. And then our way of thinking is attacked. What we once thought we can do, or what we once thought we can be, we no longer feel as though we can be that person, or we can achieve that goal or accomplish that dream. But I'm here today to tell you that you can. You can what? You can be all that God is calling you to be. It doesn't matter about the circumstance. It doesn't matter about the situation. It doesn't matter about the curveball that you may have experienced in life. Even if it was your choice, even if it was your decision, if your one choice, if your one decision caused you to be thrown a curveball, or it caused you to be walking in a lifestyle that you never thought that you were created to walk in, I'm here to tell you that you still can. You can be all that God is calling you to be. You can walk in success. You can change your thinking at any time. The Bible tells us in Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Thinking about renewing of your mind, you have to get into a place where you're constantly telling yourself that I can achieve this goal. I can be what God called me to be. I know it's more to life than what I'm currently experiencing. I know it's more to life than my current circumstances, present affliction. And sometimes when we go through challenging situations, we find ourselves asking God, why me? We find ourselves going around the same mountains over and over again, and we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to get out of it. But sometimes we have to go through a process in order to gain the victory. And when you think about it, you have to ask yourself, what are you looking at? What is really stopping you? Who are you allowing to talk to you? Is the mountain of opposition greater than the promise that God gave you? Will you allow the obstacle that you are currently in, or the present affliction, be greater than the final promise that God has given you? You have to really think about it. We have to sometimes locate ourselves and really see that maybe it's something that we did that caused us to be in this present affliction. But your today is not your tomorrow if you will change your thinking. If you will allow yourself to go through the process, walking with God, really keeping your eyes focused on the promise, then you can see the change. You can be the change. You don't have to stay in that current circumstance. You don't have to be poor. You don't have to be in a place where you're struggling constantly, but go through the process. Sometimes it's a lesson that we have to learn. We have to change our mindset, focus currently on the present promise that God has given us, not the present circumstance or the affliction. Because just like the weather, that thing is subject to change. Well, will you murmur and complain in the midst of that situation or the midst of the storm? Or will you be like what Jesus told the disciples? Let us get into the boat and go to the other side. He already had a destination for them. It was already a promise on the other side. But in the midst of the boat, in the midst of a storm came. The winds blew. The storm and the waves came upon that ship. And the disciples were fearful. They were in a place when they thought that they were going to die. But God already gave them a promise to go to the other side. So instead of them holding on to the promise, they went and woke up Jesus, who was asleep on the boat. And they said, Master, Master, do you care basically that we are perishing? So what they did was they began to look at the storm of life. They began to look at their present situation, the present circumstances. Maybe they didn't have any money for today. Maybe you feel as though I don't have a place to live. Maybe you feel as though I can't go back to school and get that degree that I once wanted because I have a child. Or maybe you feel as though my parents never took care of me. They didn't show me how to live this life. They didn't show me how to save money. They didn't show me how to work a job, or they didn't show me how to be a business owner, entrepreneur. I wasn't born with these skills. I wasn't given the advantage in life. That's an excuse. That's an excuse to stay broke. That's an excuse to stay poor. That's an excuse to stay in affliction. That's an excuse to stay hurt. That's an excuse, honestly, to have a pity party. You have to think about it. When will you begin to own up to your current lifestyle? When will you begin to see that it's some things that you walked in that's causing you to live the way that you're living today? But be of good cheer, be of great courage, that this is just a process. At any time that you choose to focus on the promise, you can change your circumstance. If you can see something greater than that current affliction, that current circumstance, you can walk forward. You can walk into the good life. And then you will clearly see that your today do not have to be your tomorrow. But will you change your thinking? Will you get out of that pity party? Will you get up from there? Get up from that place. Get up from that hopeless place. And see that this world is far greater than your circumstance, your affliction. This world is far greater than what you can see. Can you really dream big? Dream big. Dream beyond. It's more to life than what you see. And it doesn't matter if you feel as though you were afforded or you were set up for greatness. God has a plan for you. He has a plan for each and every one of us. But will you be loosed of the strongholds of the enemy that's coming against your mind, that's coming against your way of thinking, and making you think that what you see is all to life? And that's not true. A lot of times people say that as a believer that we are religious folks. They try to put us in the box, and they say that our God isn't real. And they say things like, I tried God and it didn't work for me. There's no way possible that you could just try God. You have to walk with Him. Allow Him to get into your heart. Ask Him to help you change your thinking, your thought process. Ask Him to open up your eyes to see. It's not about a religious act. It's about a relationship. Will you allow Him to come into your heart? Will you allow Him to show you the good life, what He has for you? That life that eyes have not seen. That life that you never thought was possible until you walk with God. The Bible tells us that as He thinks in His heart, so is He. And what that means is when you begin to think that you can dream big, that you can walk in greatness, that you can have what others have that you may desire. But when you begin to seek God and you consult Him and begin to just tell you your purpose in life and the things that you can accomplish and the things that you can have, you will begin to put those things in your eyes. So even if you don't currently walk in that thing, you know that it's possible to you. And nobody can stop you but you. Y'all, we got to begin to take ownership. We got to begin to see that no one can stop us. It's our way of thinking. It's those pity parties. It's the murmuring and complaining that keep us stuck. It's the, oh, I was throwing a curveball. Were you really throwing a curveball? Or was it by your choice? We have to begin to own up to the choices that we make in life. Every choice that we make has a consequence to it. But even with the consequences, will you murmur and complain about that consequences? Or will you change it? Will you see a problem but also have a solution for that problem? So you can get out of it. That you can go through the process and begin to soar. It's your choice. So I'm here to tell you that you can. You can. You can make it. You can be great. You can walk in so much more than what you've seen. And it doesn't matter if your parents never showed you. It doesn't matter if your parents don't even walk in the good life. It doesn't matter if you've ever been in a place when you said that I don't want to be like my parents. You don't have to. But you have to change your thinking in order to yield good results. You have to uproot everything in you that does not yield to good results. You have to uproot everything that's down in your heart that tells you that you cannot make it. You have to begin to reject those thoughts. You have to begin to close your mouth to what's not the promise for you. It don't matter if you're a believer or not. You can walk in a good life, but you have to change your thinking. But I'm here to tell you, believe it or not, God loves you. And He has a good plan for your life. And it doesn't matter if you don't think He loves you. He does. So my prayer today is that the eyes of your understanding be open. My prayer today is those that don't believe and those that currently do believe but have had obstacles in their life and challenges that they may be currently facing, telling them that God isn't real and God doesn't love them. My prayer today is that you will yield over to God, that you will allow yourself to see differently. My prayer is that God will open up your heart like never before, that He will show you His goodness, that you will have an encounter with Him even right now. My prayer is that His love will begin to just pour out on you. My prayer that even as you sleep tonight, that you will experience His grace, His mercy, His love and kindness towards you. My prayer is that you will know that you are good enough, and it doesn't matter what you are currently facing, that greater is He, and that you will begin to experience the good life, that your purpose will be fulfilled. I pray that the love of God will just overtake you even now, that you will see that He is real, that you will begin to separate the religious from the relationship, and that you will have a relationship with God and not a religion. My prayer is that God will come in and fill your heart, that He will just love on you like never before, that you will experience an encounter with His love and His goodness that no man can take credit for but God. I pray that you will experience His grace, that you will experience His love, that you will see that He is protecting you. And no matter the current affliction or the circumstance, that He is for you. I want to just encourage you that you can be all that you were created and designed to be. That is more to this life than what you currently see. I pray that you will just open your eyes and see that God loves you, that you will see that you can be great, that you are destined with a purpose, and that you are blessed even when you don't feel like it, that you will see that God is for you, and you can walk in all that you were called to walk in. So be encouraged and have an amazing night. If nobody told you, I just want to tell you with a sincere heart that I love you. Good night.